Hello and welcome to Breaking Bread with Rivaaj Maharaj, where nothing is off the table. For today's episode, I want to talk about the breaking news coming out of Hungary regarding the press conference that the future Prime Minister of Hungary, Peter Magyar, has just held, and an X post by Che Bose, who I urge you to follow on X. He puts out some incredible viewpoints on geopolitics, so go out and have a look at his X handle, and I urge you to follow and support him. Now, the Prime Minister of Hungary has made these comments, and it's breaking news at the moment. So without further ado, let's get into it. Che Bose in his article on X, or in his post on X, has come out with the breaking news regarding the comments made by Peter Magyar. And Bose says, as I predicted, the future Prime Minister of Hungary, Peter Magyar, stated that he is not going to approve an EU loan for Ukraine. The EU will not be getting in all its own way. We agree with Hungary's refusal to grant Ukraine an EU loan of 90 billion euros. Once again, this is a decision that was already made in Brussels in December. I don't understand why it needs to be reviewed now. We do not support Ukraine's accelerated accession to the EU. On the one hand, we are talking about a country in a state of war. Accepting a warring country into the European Union is absolutely absurd. I've also got a video of the press conference where Mr. Magyar has been speaking.
I'm not sure what is here and the 90 billion loan to Ukraine. Well, I'm not sure what we are talking about, because in December at the meeting of the European Council, Viktor Orban got an opt-out. So the Council of Europe decided that Hungary, Slovakia and the Czechia will be left out from the 90 billion euro loan, so it doesn't apply to our countries, and that's how it was accepted. I'm not entirely clear on that. I will discuss with the European leaders, but I personally agree that Hungary should opt out. Hungary is in a very difficult financial situation, and it is our job to bring back the EU funds that belongs to us and that every other member states have received but us. So we haven't received it. We are unable to use it to improve our economy. So we cannot really take out even more loans. The Hungarian budget the deficit and that state debt has tripled since 2010. So we would like to bring home the EU funds, but this is already a decision that was made in December in Brussels. So I don't know why this should be reopened, even though I understand that the position of Viktor Orban changes often, because he first accepted it and then he rejected it. That the same with the EU accession of Ukraine in 2022. He wrote a letter to Ursula von der Leyen that Ukraine should accede to the EU immediately, but then he is against it. He is very strongly opposing it. So we will try to be coherent and honest in our communication and not change our minds every 6 months.
From the beginning, we have said that we are not supporting the fast-track accession to the EU of Ukraine. It would be impossible that a country in war to be taken by the EU. These discussions cannot be held, all the chapters to discuss. So I don't think this has relevance, but I can see that there are some movements. So the people that we have spoken with, the member states, don't take this as possible scenario. So all accession countries have to go through the same process. They have to discuss all the chapters, and if Ukraine does it, then in Hungary there will be a referendum whether the EU should take it, and it's not going to be in the near future.
And there's a few takeaways from this. So firstly, I think that all the posturing by Hillary Clinton and Ursula von der Leyen, you've got, Donald Tusk, all of them, Obama coming out congratulating him and heaping praise on the guy. I was a bit unsure as to where it was all heading, and the reasoning behind it, and I'm still quite unsure, because until the dust doesn't settle, as I say, what he says and what he does are two different things. It's more what he does that we are interested in. But so far he's come out talking about the 90 billion not going to Ukraine. I suspect that's for Zelensky and for Ursula von der Leyen, who's hell-bent on sending that money together with Kaya Kallas, on sending that money to Zelensky. He's also come out and said that this decision was taken by Orban. He's also said that, and he's going to support it. He's also said that the Hungarian economy is not in good shape, and that he wants to receive that money that was allocated for Hungary to come into the Hungarian economy. Now, we know that because Orban was in power and because of his stance against Zelensky and Ukraine, and his move towards the Russians has upset the EU, and they've been withholding the funds. So Magyar has got a problem, because if he continues steadfastly along the policies that Orban has been implementing, that means that money is going to remain frozen. So he's got a tricky balancing act to maintain. The other point worth mentioning is that Donald Trump recently floated the idea of financial aid from the United States to Hungary should Orban win the election. I suspect that if Peter Magyar is basically a replacement for Orban, just because after 16 years and because of all the corruption allegations and that against Viktor Orban, they've decided to go with a new face but the same policies. Then the fact that him asking the EU to release their funds and him still doubling down on the policies that Orban has put in place, namely the 90 billion will not be allowed to go to Ukraine, and also that he's going to continue buying cheap Russian energy because it's in the interests of the Hungarian people. I suspect therein he is now, Trump's statements before that, him making these statements now, Magyar, and the EU now looking and thinking that while they have an ace up their sleeve in terms of withholding that money, I think the American government will step in and help financially. Because don't forget, I did mention and I continuously maintain that the Americans are involved in a soft power approach to regime change throughout Europe, where left-leaning ideological governments exist. So it's something to bear in mind. He's also come out and spoken about, continuing the relationship in the short term with energy from Russia, because it's in the interests of the Hungarian people. That again is not going to bode well with the EU. But when he says in the short term, when he says it's a decision made by Orban, these are indications that for the short term they need the Russians, but long term they're going to be looking at other alternatives, which is what Orban said, I think, himself. But I think Magyar is going to have to give the EU some sort of credible proof that he's going to start embracing their green technologies and their green policies and moving in that direction. Otherwise, those funds remain frozen. He's also, his stance on Zelensky and Ukraine, he's basically, shunting that to a decision made by Orban. He has to respect the decision taken by the Hungarian parliament. So he's trying to find a way out of it whilst, still trying to get some of the funds out from the EU. I don't know how this is going to play out, but the initial signs for the EU are not as promising as they would have hoped, but they're not as promising for the opposition as well. to the EU. So it's something to watch, and we're going to keep a close eye on it, and we'll notify you accordingly. I want to thank you for spending time with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe, as it helps us with the algorithm and it helps our channel to grow.